Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I thought it would be fun to do a reading challenge vlog. So here's the challenge. The amount of phone pickups I have per day is the amount of pages I have to read. So we're gonna take the information from last week, which I had not even come up with this idea last week. Why does that keep plugging in and unplugging? Sorry if you hear the laptop noise, I don't know why it's doing that. I hadn't even come up with this idea last week, so I feel like these will be fair numbers. I have not enjoyed the amount of time I've been spending on my phone lately, to be honest. And so I want that to change, so it's always a good reason to do a reading challenge. So today's Tuesday, so I'm just going to do however many. Okay, last Tuesday I picked up my phone 234 times. So that means I have to read 234 pages today. Do you think I can do it? I hope you said yes. Okay, let's see what I have checked out from the library. I have a few things checked out right now. I have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I think this is the final book. Is it? Just says book 3. We'll see how I feel about if this continues on past this, because some things I'm like, it's okay to be a trilogy. It's okay to be a trilogy. But I did enjoy the first 2 books, so I am like 15% of the way into this. It's okay so far. To be honest, I don't love Emily and Wendell's dynamic, which maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but maybe it'll get better as the book goes on. So I have that checked out. I also have The Woman in the Library checked out by Sulari Gentill. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you. Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales is by Heather Fawcett. The Woman in the Library is a murder mystery. It says it's an unexpectedly twisty literary adventure that examines the complicated nature of friendship and shows us that words can be the most treacherous weapons of all. So that could be fun. I haven't really started reading it at all, but there's 2 options. I also have an audiobook checked out, but I feel like I don't know how I would translate audio amount of time listened to into pages. So maybe I'll just listen to the audiobook on my own time. Okay, that is driving me crazy. Okay, hopefully it stops interrupting me. How rude, laptop. Anyway, so those are my options. I have like 45 minutes before I need to go. So I'm just gonna sit down, relax, and read. Oh my gosh, that is driving me crazy. Why is it making that sound so much? Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay. I think I'm gonna dive into Emily Wilde. I'm on page 73. So, and there's 520. So I could get my what even was the number? 234. 234 pages is what I have to get today. My husband has a ton of work to do this week, so he will be working late, I think like basically every single night. So hopefully I can get a lot of the reading done then too, if I don't get it done during nap time. Because nap time, sometimes I have to get other stuff done. But after the kids go to bed, I don't like to do any tasks. Like they're in bed, I'm in bed. Or I'm relaxing. Like I'm not gonna do a task after they've gone into bed. But during nap time, it's like, it's the middle of the day, so I can still do tasks. But bedtime? I'm done. So we'll see how productive I am in the next 45 minutes before I have to get my husband from work. The more I talk, the less the time goes down for me to be able to read. And we'll go from there and we'll see how this challenge goes. As far as like, if I don't get to the page number during a day, I guess it'll just have to go into the next day. And hopefully that doesn't like compound into a large issue for me. And I will allow myself a veto because I'm the one who makes the rules. And if I need to veto, I'll veto. Because also, I am on my period. And my body has been wrecking me to the core every day. So, hopefully I will survive. In general. Okay. Enough of that. I will talk to you at some point. Okay, so it's been about 45 minutes and I need to get my kids up and get ready to go, but I read 100 pages. Well, 102 pages. actually. So I still have 132 pages left to read today, which honestly should be pretty easy. I'm now 34% of the way through Emily Wilde's Lost Compendium of Tales. I am enjoying it a little bit more. At first I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to like this one that much, but I'm curious to see where it's going to go and what the main conflict is going to be. There's a lot more like politics in this one, so that's pretty interesting, but I do really like the descriptions of the Fae. Why is this all twisted? There we go. And I really like that. I feel like sometimes with fairy books, they're just like so like pretty and magical and beautiful, and this book doesn't shy away from like the scary, violent, gross nature of fairies that also like I say that also exists. Fairies don't exist, but you know what I mean. And I really love folklore, and that's something that I've always really loved. Before I just got my associate's degree, my degree was going to be in humanities, and I think that's like just that anthropology, folklore is something that is so interesting to me, and so I really like the elements of that are brought into this story. Those are my favorite elements of the story, and Emily and Wendell aren't annoying me as much. Like in the first, like, however 70 pages I read, I was like, they're just kind of, this is kind of annoying, but I think I'll get over it. I don't know why I'm such a Scrooge when it comes to like romance in books, because I love a good rom-com. I love a good rom-com, and I am such a romantic when it comes to like myself and my husband and like even just like people we know. I'm like, yes, feel your love. But in books, I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here with your romance. I don't know why. I don't know why. Something about reading it just like really, ugh, I don't know. But it's going okay in this one. So I need to get my kids up. My camera's about to die. My dogs are barking. I need to let them inside before I leave. So I'll check in with you later, probably tomorrow, and we'll see how much reading I get done tonight. Hi. I didn't reach my goal last night. I was going to read a lot more, and then I got a migraine. So I did make it to page 234, so that means I read 59 pages last night. I still need to read 161 pages from yesterday. Let's see what the page requirement is for today. 196. So I do have less to read for today. 357 pages today. That's a lot of pages to read in one day. I don't know if I'm going to get there. I'm going to try and get to 196. And will I do the other ones from yesterday? Maybe not, because I did get a migraine, and I did tell you that I'm allowed to veto if I need to. And a migraine is a good reason to veto. Because I really tried, but I cannot read while I have a migraine. It made it so much worse. And then right as I was like, okay, I'm going to lay down and go to sleep, my son woke up screaming and would not calm down. I don't know why. I think he's going through a growth spurt, but yeah. So that was just not happening. So I'm going to try and get it today. My neck is so itchy. My allergies are out of control this past like 2 weeks. Anyway, I'm enjoying Emily Wilde. I don't think I have too much more to say to you about it. Like, there's not a lot that I can say without going into like full spoilers, which I don't plan on doing in this vlog. So I think I'll just talk to you when I finish it, and hopefully, or when I finish, I don't know, the 196 pages for today that I'm totally going to be able to do. Allegedly, hopefully. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll catch you at some point. Okay, so I read another 284 pages, and I finished Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. And I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars because it just didn't feel like a 5-star to me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like I can't pinpoint anything objectively about a book that I'm like, oh, this makes it not 5 stars. But it just didn't feel quite like 5 stars. But I kind of feel like this series might go on, and I do think I will continue reading in it because I really like the fairy aspect of it. I like the way it's done. I like that it's a lot of folklore and scholarly things. And I will say, the further I read, the more I was like, okay, I actually am on board with Emily and Wendell. Emily is kind of annoying to me sometimes, though, because it's very much like Grumpy Sunshine or whatever. And her grumpiness, sometimes I'm like, just get over yourself. You know what I mean? So sometimes I do find that a bit annoying. But overall, I still really enjoy the books. So I am happy that I read that. And so let's see. That means that I made my goal for today. So if I'm going to catch up from yesterday's goal, I would need to read another 73 pages today. That might happen tonight. As of right now, I need to go get my kids up and get them ready to go get their dad from work. So, but he does have to work again tonight. He has to work so much, like this week. Honestly, the next couple of weeks. It does give me a lot of time for reading. So, I'm gonna go get them up. But I'm glad that I finished that. I feel good about that. So yeah, and I will talk to you probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll jump on again tonight. Maybe. Who knows? But probably tomorrow. And we'll see what I start reading. My hold for The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman came off, and I did accept it. So that's another option, just in case I don't jive with The Woman in the Library. How long is The Woman in the Library? The Woman in the Library is 531 pages, and The Bright Sword is 924. Sorry, I didn't say that very clearly. 924. We've got options, and I'll update you soon. Hello. So, wow, my hair is kind of crazy today, and I'm just gonna let it be what it is. I ended up reading another 137 pages last night. I started reading The Woman in the Library, and it's so much more interesting than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know why I was like slightly hesitating to read it, because it's been on my TBR for like quite a while. I think I heard, who was it? Kayla? Books and Lala talk about it like years ago, and I added it to my TBR, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. I started reading it. This book is so interesting. So basically, you are following like one chapter. You're from this woman's perspective, and she's trying to write in the Boston Public Library, and she like starts writing kind of based on what she sees, like a few people that she sees, and they kind of like catch her writing about them, and they think it's like funny, and they all start talking, and then they hear a scream, and they're all like, oh, what the heck is that, you know? And they just kind of like become friends a little bit. They're like, oh, this was fun, you know, we enjoyed hanging out with each other at the library, like, you know, let's go out and get some food. And so they went to some food, you know, starting to be friends, and then they find out that the scream that they heard was actually a woman who was found dead. And so then they're kind of like, oh wow, like I can't believe we heard that, that's really scary, like it sounds like she was murdered, like what's going on? And then at the end of every chapter is an email from someone emailing the author, like, oh, I really like this chapter. She's Australian, the author lady is. I really like this chapter, just so you know, Americans wouldn't use this slang, they would actually say this instead. Or like, oh, because he lives in Boston, here's a list of restaurants that you could reference in your book if you need to, and like what the various price points are. Oh, you wanted to talk about like how they would get from the library to this place. Like, let me tell you, this is, no one would walk there. They would take, you know, an Uber or the bus or the train or whatever. And so I just am finding it really interesting, because it's like you start getting really like sucked into these chapters, and then like at the end of the chapter there's like a line that'll get you, and the email's like, wow, that last line was great. And so I was really sucked in, but I was just getting so sleepy. Like my eyes were closing on their own. So I was like, okay, I have to put this down because I'm just gonna fall asleep reading. But I did make it about 30% into the book, and we'll see how much more. It's already 2 o'clock right now, and I haven't done any of the work that I was going to. My son got hurt this morning. He's totally fine. He fell, and he had a lip tie, which if you don't know, basically it's where like this piece of your gum is, or your lip is attached to your gum. he had a lip tie. We had taken him in to see about it getting cut because it can affect your teeth and the way you chew and stuff like that, you know, like you need to have lip mobility. And the doctor we took him to was like, no, I'm not going to cut that. It's not that bad, and I don't want to traumatize him by cutting it. And like, he's a baby. He wouldn't remember it at that point, you know. Now he's not even going to remember it now even. He's not even 18 months old. So, like, you know, obviously not saying that you should, like, do bad things to your kids, but, like, he wouldn't remember that procedure, and they numb the area and whatever. But, so I was like, okay, I guess don't cut it. Anyway, he fell down today, and he hit it, and it cut. It ripped on its own. So I took him to the doctor, and he's totally fine, and it'll heal up quickly. So I guess we don't need to go get a cut. He did it himself. So because of that, I was like running around like crazy, trying to, you know, get him calmed down and make sure he was okay, and then take him into the doctor. And I had to drive half an hour to go to the doctor, and then, you know, we went there, and then we stopped by to see my husband at work, and then we came home, and then I had to make lunch, and then I made my kids lunch, but I didn't feel like eating what they were eating, so I was like, I'll just make some food for myself when they go down for the nap. So I've just been like kind of eating and trying to recalibrate for the past hour. And so yeah, I do need to like write a description box and make some thumbnails and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna do that, work on that, and then we'll see if I have any time to read. How many pages am I supposed to read today? I'm supposed to read 204 pages today. Okay, here's my question. Could I count any extra that I read from last night to go into today? I'm gonna say yes for myself, just because I'm the one who makes the rules. Hold on, I have to do math. Give me a second. If I do that, that actually puts me at 260 pages, which is over the amount that I have to read today. So I'll just see what I can read today. How's that? I don't know what the plan is for tonight, because my husband said he has to work, but then he was also like, maybe we can sneak in a date after the kids go to bed. Let me clarify something. Just to make the record very clear, we live with his parents. It's a multi-generational household that we live in. So when I say go on a date after our kids go to bed, we will not be leaving our kids alone. We would never do that. They would be at home, asleep, with the rest of the family who lives here. Just wanted to throw that out there, just in case anybody was like, you're leaving your kids home alone. I'm not. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, what am I talking about? Oh, if I do that, then I probably won't read very much because I'll be on a date with my husband. But if we aren't able to make that work and he just has to work, then yeah, I'll just read. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna go do the work I need to do, see how much I can read, because I actually really want to jump back into this book, and I will update you sometime, some point, some way, somehow. Okay, so I just read 100 more pages of The Woman in the Library, and things are getting crazy. I can't tell you anything. I don't want to spoil it, but it's getting crazy. You should read this book. You should read this book. I think this might be a 5-star for me. I am really, really enjoying it, and there's more mixed media in it than I thought. And I've been telling you guys in the past like 12 videos I made that I really like mixed media stuff. And then it just pulls out the mixed media. It hooks me. I love it every time. So let me know if there's more mixed media books I should read. The first thing that pops into my mind is House of Leaves, because I've seen it around everywhere. And I know it's a wild, crazy book, like, as far as formatting, but I'm afraid it's gonna be too scary for me. And that's been, like, my biggest hesitancy about reading it. So let me know if you think it's too scary for me. Anyway, I have to go get my husband from work, but just wow. That book it just hooks you in. I just want to keep reading. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? I'll talk to you probably tomorrow and give you an update. And like I was like, I don't think I'm gonna read 204 pages today. I've already read 100 pages, and I'm like, if I didn't have to leave right now, I would finish the book right now. If I could just sit and read all of it, I would, in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Anyway, I'll talk to you tomorrow, and I'll tell you how it's going. And hopefully, it goes well for the rest of the book. Hello. I finished The Woman in the Library last night, so that puts me at 312 pages total yesterday. So, pretty good, considering that I only needed to read 204. So, today I need to read 205 pages. So I have The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman checked out, so I'm going to start that. I have to leave to go get my infusion, like, now. I need to leave now, so I need to make this quick. But if you don't know, basically I have to get weekly hydration infusions because I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and POTS, and I'm in a really bad flare, and my doctor is hoping that this will help. So that's where we're at. The Woman in the Library, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really, really liked it. The only reason I'm knocking it down a star is just because I felt like some of the pacing was a little bit strange. Like, the beginning of the, I would say even the whole first half to 75% of the book had me so hooked. I had to know what was going to happen. And then there was this weird, like, lull for a minute where I was like, why are we talking about this stuff? And then it was like action, 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 action at the end. So I feel like that lull was just like a little bit strange for me, but not enough for me to like dislike the book at all. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it. It's by Sulari Gentill. So check that book out if you enjoy mixed media, murder mysteries. There was some wild things in there that I can't tell you about without spoiling the book, but I was like, whoa, what's happening? I really am enjoying this. So there was also some interesting COVID talk, which I just don't like reading about it. I know everyone's kind of at their own stages of if they like to read about it or not, and I'm like, I don't generally, which I like pandemic books. Not about that pandemic, but just in general, like Emily St. John Mandel comes to mind first, How High We Go in the Dark. I really loved both, all of those books, but I don't know. When about COVID, I was like, no, get away. So, yeah. But that was also not enough for me to, like, dislike the book. So, and then at the very, very end, it's just, like, a teeny bit open-ended and a teeny bit, like, and I really loved that. So, that was The Woman in the Library. I'm going to be starting The Bright Sword while I'm at my infusion. We'll see how much I get read there. I have such a hard time focusing there because there's always, like, a lot of people, and it's loud and uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to have an IV in, and I have a hard time focusing on reading when I'm there. So we'll see how much I get done, which kind of sucks because it's like an hour for me to just sit somewhere, which never happens, especially like without my children, and then I can't focus on reading for the life of me. So, yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, I need to scoot, and I will update you at some time. It's Monday now. I'm a little embarrassed to tell you about the amount of reading I did, or should I say lack of reading. Is there something on my camera? Oh, it's what the heck is that? Oh, it's a spider. Hold on. Okay, now that I've removed the spider from my camera lens, okay, so on Friday, I read a total of 157 pages. I was supposed to read 205. Here's what happened. I started reading The Bright Sword, and I'm DNFing it, which is really disappointing to me, but I just wasn't driving with it very much. It was swearing a lot, which I don't love, and the vibe was just not there for me to read 900 pages of it. You know what I mean? So that's a big bummer. If you think I like really, really should read it, then let me know why, and maybe I would consider picking it up again. But for right now, I'm like, okay. But then I started reading a book called Untethered Sky by Fonda Lee. I heard about this on Carrie's page, Carrie Can Read. And it is a little novella, and it is basically about this girl who she trains, basically they're like giant hawks. They're like man-sized hawks. And they call them rocks. R-O-C-K. No, R-O-C. Rock. And so basically she is like one of the trainers for them. It's a super dangerous job because they are wild animals and they're very volatile and they can hurt you. Like, you have to like really bond with them before they'll like keep you safe. But then even then it's like you have to be careful because they're wild animals still. And they usually basically train them to kill manticores. And so you learn that her mother and her brother were killed by a manticore, and that's like kind of what drove her to become, it's called a rucker. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. It was a really short novella. I finished it last night. I didn't read at all on Saturday. So that's embarrassing. But we just had a lot. I don't read on Saturdays very often, just in general, because there's a lot going on and everyone's home and there's things to do, and so I don't really read on Saturdays that often, to be honest. So I didn't read anything on Saturday. But yesterday I read 100 pages. So I was supposed to read 216 yesterday, and I was supposed to read 198 on Saturday. So I'm just gonna count those days as failures, I think. I'm not gonna try and make it up today. Today's number is the biggest number yet, with 272 pages. I honestly don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it to that, but I'll do my best. So yeah, so I finished Untethered Sky yesterday. I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. I would have read it as a full-length novel. I thought it was really well done, but I think it didn't need to be a full-length novel. Like, there wasn't anything that I was like, I'm really missing information or plot or characters here. Like, I think the character work was really well done, the plot was good, and the world building was really good. Like, I feel like I had a really good grasp of what this world was like and what it looked like and what the politics were like, and it's just like a really short little novella. So what I have checked out now is another novella, actually, and that is Murder by Memory by Olivia Waite, and this book is about an interstellar passenger liner. Dorothy Gentleman wakes up in a body that isn't hers, just as someone else is found murdered. Interesting. So I don't feel like I need to read too much more, but yeah, it's only like 100 pages long, so I should be able to read that today. And then, yeah, we'll see if I can find something else to read or if one of my holds comes off today. I'm actually gonna go outside right now and swim. We just filled up our pool yesterday, so the water's gonna be cold, but it's like 91 degrees outside right now. So I think I'm gonna swim some laps and get some exercise in, and then maybe I can read, just like lay out in the sun and read. That sounds nice. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll check in with you and see how much of Murder by Memory I read, and we'll see how much I'm able to read like later this evening. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry that I was a complete and total failure over the weekend. But I honestly kind of anticipated that would happen because I don't read that much on the weekends, and usually there's a lot going on. And there was. So, yep. That's where we're at. Let's see how much I can read. Okay, my swim was very nice. Had a great time. And then I only read about 30 pages before my husband came out and let me know that our daughter woke up from her nap. Or rather, didn't fall asleep from her nap. So I don't think I'm going to get much more reading done right now, but that's okay. I'm going to hang out with her, and then we'll see how much reading I can get done tonight. But I'm very happy I got to swim. The only sad part about it is that, is that in the next 10-day forecast, it's not going to be warm enough to swim again at all. Like, the average temperature in the next 10 days is going to be like 70 degrees, so that will not be hot enough for me to swim. So that's kind of sad, but yeah, you can sit on my lap. We can do your nails, okay? So yeah, run that, and I'll update you probably tomorrow. Okay, hi. Today is Tuesday, the last day of the reading challenge, so let me update you. Last night I finished Murder by Memory. I gave it 4 stars. Basically, this is following, like, all of human civilization is now on a spaceship, and their souls, subconscious memories, are in these, like, library books, so they can regenerate bodies. Okay, I gotta make this fast because my daughter is ready to get out of her room from her nap. Basically, the main character is one of the ship's detectives, and she is thrown into a new body without her own choice, and then there's a murder that she has to solve. I found it really fun, and I really liked the world building, and it was just a short little novella. And then I started reading Snowglobe by Soyoung Park, and basically it's like this world where everywhere is like extremely cold, like -50 Fahrenheit, and except for this one area called Snowglobe, and it is heated, and everyone in the outside works to provide electricity for the people who live there, and the exchange of the people living there in the nice warm weather is that everything they do will be filmed for reality TV, even if it's like a murder show. They have to like actually kill people. And so I've heard it kind of compared to the Hunger Games, I think because of that reason. So I'm not super far into it, only like 100 pages-ish. So yesterday I read a total of 202 pages. So I didn't get to my 272 that I was supposed to, but I still feel good about reading 202. Today I'm supposed to read 216. I've read like 30 so far, but as you can probably hear, my children are awake from their nap. We had to change nap schedule today because of an appointment. So hopefully I can read more tonight and then update you tomorrow, and we'll wrap up this challenge. So yeah, 216 for today. And we'll see if I get there. I feel like I'm kind of like, the longer this goes, the more I fail. But that's okay. We'll persevere. Okay, hello. I'm here for the final update. Don't mind this pile of laundry in the background. Today's Thursday because I did not have a single moment alone yesterday to be able to film. It was just kind of a crazy day. So, I did reach my reading goal on Tuesday. I read 234 pages of Snowglobe, and I did finish it. I actually finished it yesterday, not Tuesday, but that's fine. We'll still count it for this. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think that a lot of the tone didn't make a lot of sense to me, and the stakes, it seemed like the stakes were supposed to feel really high and they didn't feel very high to me at all, and so I was having a hard time connecting that. And there were some new characters introduced at the end that didn't make it made sense to the story, but pacing wise it didn't make sense to me to like put them in at the very end. And then also the tone felt incorrect to me. Like, they were supposed to be doing this like very serious, very dangerous thing, but then they were like laughing uncontrollably and stuff like that, and I wasn't like being best friends, and I don't know, it just didn't make a whole lot of sense. And then there was also a weird magical element that was like briefly mentioned twice and then brought up at the very end but no explanation. Like, I have no idea why it was part of the story in general, so that was a little bit confusing to me. So overall, I don't think it was a bad book. I think it just fell flat for me. And as far as being compared to the Hunger Games, I think the reason they're comparing it to the Hunger Games is because of the like televised, everything you do is on TV and you don't get a lot of choice, but you can choose to live in the Snowglobe, and like anyone can choose, like you have to audition or whatever, but like everyone auditions. So I'm not really sure, like Snowglobe did not feel as oppressive to me as the Capitol does. Like, the Capitol is very oppressive and it's very clear what's happening, and Snowglobe did not feel that way. So I think that they wanted to compare it to the Hunger Games because the Hunger Games is really popular right now, which totally makes sense from a publishing standpoint of like, okay, this thing is doing really, really well, so let's say that we're like that thing. I get it. But, and then the other thing it was compared to was Squid Games. And I haven't seen Squid Games, to be fair. I haven't seen it. But from what I know, it's supposed to be like really brutal, and this book is not that at all. So I don't know if it's like because they're both Korean. Squid Games is Korean, isn't it? Hold on, let me look. Yeah, it is. So I don't know if it's because they're both Korean things. Like, this book is a Korean, written by a Korean author, and Squid Games is a Korean show. So I don't know if that's where the comparison is coming from. Again, I haven't seen Squid Games, so maybe there's something I'm missing there. But from what I know about it, that comparison didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But if you've read this book and seen Squid Games and you're like, oh, it's this, feel free to let me know, because I'm just like, I'm not really sure what that connection is. So, in total, I read 1,622 pages for the week, which I feel like was pretty good, considering that I did not read on Saturday at all. And I didn't read very much on Friday or Sunday either. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Let's see, what did I read? Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, Untethered Sky, Murder by Memory, Snowglobe. 4 books, pretty good. So let me know if you've read any of these books, how you feel about them, if you like them, if you hate them, and let me know if your pickup number is similar to mine, or if we all need to work on being on our phones less, which I kind of think is probably the case. Anyway, thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!